Thanks for coming into the studio. What made you figure Jamie himself was the last man standing, that he is the hero on Wall Street?
Well, it was interesting because in early '08, we were talking at New York Magazine about which CEOs merited profiles. And already you could see that Dimon had effectively steered JPMorgan clear of a lot of the chaos and disasters that a lot of his peers fell into. And the story only got more interesting, in the last 18 months. But you could see it coming in '08.
But it's interesting, and having glanced through this in the book, it's not just the fact that he, went through the crisis without a quarterly loss here. You're not just looking at the balance sheet. You're talking about leadership, really, coming from Dimon's office. There's been a lot of criticism that there hasn't been the presence of leadership out there in the past 2 years.
Absolutely, and I retraced Jamie's entire career in the book, which goes back to his days at building Citigroup with Sandy Weil.
You talk about that. You seemingly saying here the students outmastered the master.
I think at this point in time, the student has surpassed the teacher. Hopefully, for his sake, he's got the intelligence to continue steering the firm in the right direction. But definitely, those two reputations have changed places over the last couple of years.
Now, did you sit down with Dimon for this? How much work did you do with him directly?
Jamie made himself quite available, remarkably so, given the times we were in and what was happening in the markets. We had a number of sit-downs in a number of different environments, and he was quite open and a lot of candor in terms of talking about both history and current stuff in the book.
And you talk as well about his wife and his relationship with his wife, and perhaps a career as a bartender someday?
His wife's fantastic. She's people call Jamie a force of energy. She's a force of energy in her own right. And she did mention to me that one of his fantasies would be to open his own restaurant and be Sam Malone. I doubt we're going to see that happen.
But what about Treasury Secretary? Because that's one of the rumors out there.
I guess he's going to pick between the two of them. Does he want to be Sam Malone? Does he want to be Treasury Secretary?
But we'll see how this crisis fares. I'm sure that'll be a deciding point in there. I want to focus here on somebody else that you sat down with, Bill Winterss, in putting together this book, because on Bloomberg today, headlines that he was just shown the door by Dimon, yet he's credited in here by you with really helping the firm to steer clear or steer the way out of some of the poor decisions that had been made in terms of riskier financial products.
Yeah, Bill spent the majority, if not his entire career, at JPMorgan and oversaw the firm's efforts in derivatives and structured products. And certainly he is credited with having carefully thought through the risk rewards of a lot of these products that hampered competitors' results. And yes, he is leaving the firm. I guess the way I look at it, and I'm sure a lot of other people are, is that at some point someone's got to make a decision about succession. And unfortunately for Winterss, it appears that Jamie was focused more on Jess Staley, who's now running the investment bank, than Winterss. I don't think it's an indictment of his performance at the firm or his value to the firm, but only one guy can be the boss, and Jamie at least had the sense to make that tough decision, which is something that a lot of other people on Wall Street have proven incapable of doing as well.
It's an interesting decision, given that, here in the book you're talking about in late '06, Winterss was the one who concluded it was no longer worth the risk to underwrite or keep CDOs on the balance sheet.
True, but keep in mind
he saw the flag.
That's the business that Winterss oversaw. So
right.
it's you wouldn't expect.
But there were plenty who didn't.
Right, and
didn't raise those red flags like he did to his boss.
Again, credit to him. Staley was running asset management until recently, until this appointment to the bank, and he's done whatever job he's done there. And I guess there's a whole lot of other factors that go into thinking about succession, and somewhere in the balance, Staley came out ahead. But like I said, again, I don't think the move is an indictment or a criticism on Jamie's part of Winterss' performance, because it is what it is and it's been spectacular. But again, only one guy, or at some point you have to make these decisions.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming in studio. Just quickly, are you going to continue to follow Jamie?
It's hard not to. When you spend this much time obsessing about another human being who doesn't happen to be your wife, you can't help but pay attention whenever his name pops up.
And we'll see if that involves a move to D.C. as Treasury Secretary. Thank you so much, Duff.
Thanks.
Congratulations on the book.